here's a video for, this is kind of working backwards as I work forwards, getting the big picture of content for where this is leading. So I made this video here just after I made video 5 in the technology integration part up front, your introduction to the series. Now, this right here is the beginning of the content that we'll be looking at when you get to, if you should make it so far as to get to the third part of composition, advanced composition. This is following drum percussion techniques and methodology. This is composition, an advanced composition. And what we'll be doing is we will not only be writing music and using technology to help us along, we will also be looking at key concepts such as classic music composition. A lot of contemporary rock music, for example, is all strophic. It follows rondos. It has like patterns like A B A, A B A, A B A, B B A, C C, A B A, C C, A B A, A B A, B B A, B A. It follows, and each letter there, if you understand what I'm talking about, is a part of the song, and it's how it's arranged. The way this song is being arranged is, as mentioned previously, based on classical composition. So think of the sonata and the 3 or the 4-piece sonata or 4-part sonata. Arguably, there's 3 or 4 parts to a sonata. But that being said, what I'm going to do real quick is, when I got the idea today about how to pull together my background experience with children's literature and the influence that Babula in Russia, my surrogate Russian babushka, how Yeyo Pomagay Меня, how she helped me. And what I want to do is think about what's called in instructional design content development. And what are you getting into, Papa? Go lay down, buddy. Go on. Paboose break. Ah, Pablo. You silly? Okay. But anyway, what I want to do is not only integrate a structure that's based on classic music composition, but I also want to think about the motivation behind what is creating this piece of music. So in instructional design and technology, when you're teaching concepts, you usually start with things that are small and easy. It's just one pathway to learning, and many that can be combined, but you usually learn from small and easy to big and difficult. So that being said, this is a children's song, so on the level for a child, but it's also very complex. So this is the kind of a song that a child can grow with over time, have fun learning it at the beginning, and listening and singing along with it. But when they're an adult, they can appreciate the composition structure. They can appreciate the literary aspect, the lyrics. They can appreciate the motivations and the development of each context between from the introduction to the exposition to the development to the recapitulation. I want to say it in Italian. I've got to say it in English. Recapitulation. they'll be able to appreciate the parts of it. So what I want to do real quick is, first, let you listen to 3 on-the-fly little notes to myself that I use. I use my phone, my iPhone. When I get an idea running in my head, because I got so many things going on, I'm multitasking. And so when I get a note that, you know, I think that I should keep this idea because it's something worthy, and I don't want to go to the post office and run to the bank and then come home and say, well, what was that? You know, so I'll pull out my phone and I'll record it. So I have 3 brief recordings right here. One is 6 minutes long, one is 1 minute long, and the other one is 3 minutes long of me making notes to myself. And one of them is made when I'm actually typing this document here. In this document right here, that's the introduction, verse 1. The concept of this verse, in theory, is the launch of a new day, and it's a solo eventual. And what I mean by that is, each individual character in this verse, which follows in the music that's described in the lyrics, there's characters. And the characters themselves are on a solo journey. They don't know that each other exists yet. So that being said, the song opens up with high melodies, and the perspective is pathos. It's an emotional high, and so it's just everybody in glee and having fun, so to speak. And I wrote the lyrics, and when I write lyrics, I used to sit in a park over in the city when I was in Russia, and I would just sit and read philosophy for hours, Aristotle and Plato and whatnot, and then I would make notes in my journal about what's going through my day, et cetera, and so on. But when I write lyrics, I sort of draw upon my whole life experiences. Now, this song also is heavily influenced by John Henry Bonham, and you're going to learn here how. You all know the song Moby Dick. Well, this is based on the sea culture in the United Kingdom. It's embedded in the language, mate. You know what I mean? This is based on the sea culture, and also based on the book Moby Dick, and Captain Ahab and the whale. So how it starts off here is a brief introduction and brief lyric, and then we get into an exposition, which is a brief interlude of the song, and it's divided in half. And each one of these interludes, the composition rules are for percussion and instruments are emotive perspectives for each of the individual characters involved, and it's split in half. The total measures of the interlude are split in half. One part of them going to the perspective of Ahab, and one part of them going to the perspective of the whale. Now, the reason it's composed this way is because it's one interlude. But the music, depending on how you're listening, who you are, you might be thinking that you're the whale, or when you listen to the sounds, or you may be thinking that you're Ahab when you listen to the sounds. So sound is can be interpreted many different ways. So what we want to do is make sure that in the composition itself, the music that it's expresses both how Ahab may feel and how both the whale may feel as well. So, for example, we have 2 parts here. The keys, 2 parts, the embellishments. Hunting or slyly stalking. right? Hunting or slyly stalking. That is Ahab's embellishments. On the keys, there's two parts. And then part B is victory or cunning lumbering. Okay? That's the whale. Now, the accessory instruments follow all that. So what we have here is an animal which is either lingering or striking. That's the whale. He's being evasive, cunning. He's a lumbering giant. So there'll be like real deep sounds and undersea kind of sounds for the whale. Lives in perpetual darkness. And the Ahab, working, boastful, hopeful, tossed about on calm seas, tossed about or on calm seas, and they're living through days and nights. Now this is Ahab and the men working on the ship. And then the beginning, as mentioned previously, is solo eventual. Everybody is just, having a good day on the run. And then when we get to verse 2, the entire mood changes, and it goes from, and verse 2 is called the encounter, and now we have dual conflict being involved in the whole composition of the song itself. So that's where call response is going to be coming in from the blues. We're going to have Ahab in one calling out, in the whale responding, or the whale calling out and Ahab responding. And so let's look real quickly at these the phone, so you can get an idea of how I'm using technology to help with this. And this will all come to the final video in this series right here. This will all come to light on the final product, and you'll be able to appreciate it much more. But here's my recordings, and I made 3 of them here that have to do with this particular composition. So let's just listen to these real quick. Okay, here's an idea for a children's song, integrating what I learned from Babula and in writing and composition, and in contrast to my background with music and John Henry Bonham. And so the song is it's for children or adults, and it's designed in a classical methodology of composition. There's an introduction, and there's an exposition, and of course development and recapitulation. And then each of the components of the structure have, of course, verse 1, there's a brief interlude at the beginning following the introduction, and then there is what's a brief musical interlude, and then there's a verse 2, developing conflict, etc., and so on. It's noted, but then what I want to get here is the melodies that I have for the words of the song, so that I can keep a note of it. So the beginning of the song is on a big dream's grand day, we were headed to sea. We were seeking adventure in what is to be. There's a great tale so told that we'd surely go see. That we'd surely go see. Now, as I'm taking these notes, I'm thinking them through. Depths, beware it's Moby. I'm actually typing in the background on the second video. And then boom, the exposition, the brief interlude, and the description of the music composition is in notes. Composition rules. The brief interlude, there is verse 2. And I might want to vary it just a little bit. Verse 2 is the encounter. Not necessarily what I'm going to sing melodically right now, but might want to make it a little bit more intense at this point, because this is the revelation and the revelation of the song, and also the aspect of the preparing for development. So where we're at right here is we were sailing after the interlude music composition. We were sailing the high seas, he was lumbering about. Then with one swift north breeze, we descended high wave, and upon the horizon we encountered the grave. He splashed one great tail, we were hurried and brave. It was Moby himself, the tail of the sea. He ascended the depths, he was there with you and me. He hammered the sea, she moved tides awry. She moved tides awry. We battened the hatches and prepare for a ride. The tale says he's great, we pray to survive. It was Moby the tale, it was Moby himself, the tale was no lie. I'm typing here because I'm making these words up as I go along. Commanding all ear, held pull right, held pull right hard, and rang all hands bell. The sea she swelled great, port side met her well, and off in the distance was Moby's great tail. Ahab held 4 men, prepare harpoons rig, shoot straight for true now, 'cause Moby is big. So that's how the second verse goes there. And then the chorus. It's Moby, Moby, Moby. It's Moby, Moby the dick. It's Moby, Moby, Moby. It's Moby, Moby the dick. Then we go into composition here after the chorus. Silence is silent. Use silence. So those are their notes on the first set of notes that I made on my phone while I was typing and talking at the same time of how this should. I wanted to sing it out in my head because I had the melody in my head, and I didn't want to lose the melody for the words that I had. And then I get into the music itself, and this is really going to be a hard rock song at some point. Well, I mean, it's going to be really heavy. Think something on the lines of maybe John Lord or something like that. Really heavy keys are going to be in it. But how the song goes, now that I got it in my head, high melody, starts off on Big Dreams Grand Day. Oh, I'm sorry, let me get a better view here. On Big Dreams Grand Day, we were headed to sea. We were seeking adventure and what is to be. There's a great tale so told that surely we'd see. If he rose from Johnny's depths, beware it's Moby. And then it's a bird's eye there, and it silences out to nothing. And then that's where it kicks in. And this is the music composition itself. This is where, I mean, you know, there's some melody behind the lyrics, of course, but this is where the interlude and the real role of sound takes place in describing the characters that are in this composition. So that being said, number 2, you might wonder, how do I come up with these songs? I usually just sit behind my keyboard and I just play it. They come to my head and I think about them and play them. But when I don't have the keyboard in front of me and I have a good melody that I want to hold on to, as mentioned, I'll grab my phone and I'll make a recording of what I'm thinking about so that I don't lose track of it, and then it will come back to me. So this is recording 2, and this is where I think about music sound.
Part of the interlude, the bass guitar line with a high pitch or something going on with a higher
call response
wave, the bass guitar, boom, and then a response from the high end, or wow, and then the bass replies, wow, something like that, for an idea of the brief interlude at the beginning of the song.
So that was one idea I had on the how I want the song to go. Call response, and this is just the bass line and the call response between the bass line and the supporting key, which you might think of as maybe the lead guitar, for example. So what we got going on here is an idea, and then I took it a little bit step further on the third recording. I was running errands.
Okay, this is going to be integrating some African call response between all the bass drum, or between the main bass riff and the accompanying main key lead, and with breaks in it for drums. So the bass riff would go something like boom, 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 bang, and the high part, bang, is the response of the accompanying key, boom, 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 bang, boom, 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 bang, boom, 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 bang, ba dum 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 dum, bang, boom, 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 boom.
So you got an idea there of what the song is going to sound like, and that's just a part of getting your composition ideas in order. The song itself, though, when you get into the chorus, we're going to break it down into pieces so that you understand, and also with literature references that you might be interested in looking at. For example, when I'm talking about perspective pathos, pathos, logos, ethos, you know, pathos is the emotional aspect of it all. So here, your emotions can be either high or low. So it's high melodies and with a pathos perspective. So what I'm talking about there is the melodies are high, so therefore it conveys an emotion of gaiety, of being high. It's not like a creepy song in the background of a scary movie, for example. That's what I mean by that. And then when we get into dual conflict, the encounter in dual conflict, there's where we can use music to express different characters in measure. You know that one of them is the monster, for example, and you know that one of them is the good guy, for example. Scaling melodies, acknowledging a situation, and the perspective is ethics revealed. So this aspect of the song is where the lyrics themselves speak to what Ahab is feeling minimally. The aspect of the well is the same situation. The aspect of the well, though, is to be determined by the listener themselves. What would the well be thinking in a certain situation? So this is verse 2. We were sailing the seas, he was lumbering about, Then with one swift north breeze, we descended high wave, and upon the horizon we encountered the grave. He splashed one great tail, we were hurried and brave. It was Moby himself, the tail of the sea. He ascended the depths, he was there with you and me. He hammered the sea, she moved tides awry. We battened the hatches and prepare for a ride. The tale says he's great, we pray to survive. It was Moby himself, the tale was no lie. Ahab stood well manned, commanding our ear, held port right hard, and rang our hand's bell. The sea she swelled great, port sight met her well, and off in the distance was Moby's great tale. Now, these lyrics here are just on a scratch board right now, and in the final composition, I'm certain that they will be rearranged in ways that there may be breaks in here and more musical interludes, or perhaps the chorus itself in there. And the chorus itself, in comparison to the composition and in comparison to the main story, the song itself is a story that children can remember if they take, if they focus on it. But importantly, the chorus is something that any kid can pick up right away. What you want to do is when you're teaching somebody something, you want them to be able to own it. You want them to be able to at least learn something about it really quickly that interests them and something that they can partake and engage in. So that's part of what the chorus is here. It's Moby, Moby, Moby. It's Moby, Moby the Dick. It's Moby, Moby, Moby. It's Moby, Moby the Dick. And we might change that a bit around, but just to give you an idea of what it is, give you an idea of putting together a really complex piece of music and what goes into it and how you might approach it. It's not only about the music itself, it's about the literature, it's about the content, it's about the characters, it's about their motivation, it's about who's the hero. There's so much involved in importing a plethora of concepts into writing not only the music but the literature and how you use words. For example, tale of the tale of the whale, and also this is a tale. Using words like that children can think about are synonyms or antonyms, and whether they rhyme or not, and how they fit into the rhythm and structure of the music. It's all a very important part of it.